probably tell by the shape of the headstock what we're talking about here. Stay tuned. Hey folks, Lucas Welsh here, and today we're bringing you this stunning little L00 by Gibson. This is a newer guitar. This is nothing vintage. I don't actually know what the year is here, but it's a really beautiful little guitar. This is a spruce top, walnut back and sides, mahogany neck, and what looks to be like a rosewood or maybe walnut. Hard to say. I think that's a rosewood bridge on there. This guitar came into us for a couple small little things. Probably there was a couple little structural things that were going on that weren't really big deals. They just needed to be addressed so they didn't become bigger deals. There was a small crack in the side bout here that did go through, so we glued it. We installed a couple cleats from the inside. There's a small crack running off the end of the saddle here. This is a problem that is likely to be common with these little guitars. They don't leave you a whole lot of meat in front of the saddle. Like we're talking, there's only a couple, 2.5, maybe 3 millimeters of actual wood on the leading edge of that saddle on the treble side, and that's not really enough. You get all this torque pulling on these strings, wanting to pull that saddle forward. Yeah. So we fixed the crack, we stabilized everything, and we're gonna see a little bit what happens. But if this becomes a problem again, we're likely gonna have to add a little bit of meat to the leading edge of this bridge. Not something that I really want to do, but it's absolutely useless if it's not playable. I mean, we're talking this bridge here. Oh, I don't have a, here we go. Total, this bridge is an inch across. Okay, so from the center of the holes, the bridge pin holes, to the back, we're talking 8/32 of an inch. And from the front of the bridge to the leading edge of the treble side of the saddle, we're talking 4/32. That is not, there's not a lot of beef there, okay? I get it. I understand. But I mean, come on, let's add a 1/4 inch of material overall. An extra 1/8 inch on the back and the front would make a world of difference. And probably mitigate any stresses that there would be. Regardless, we took care of it. We're watching it. We're going to see how it goes. Probably the biggest concern that this guitar had, aside from those two minor cosmetic things, well, which weren't cosmetic, they were structural, I guess, is not playing in tune with a capo on. Now this is a problem that I've heard lots and lots and lots, okay? And naturally, we want to go first to, well, how are you using your capo? Is there any human error in here that could really dictate? And there's a lot of things with the capo that folks don't understand. You've got these little shove style capos, and the first thing that you got to understand is you don't just clamp down on these for all that they're worth, okay? You want to make sure that there's enough pressure, but that you're not, it just needs to be what it needs to be, okay? It doesn't need to be a crazy amount of force. And you got some of those spring clamp capos, some of those things are pretty rugged, okay? They're putting a lot of force on. Another thing that people don't think about is this rubber part here that contacts the strings and contacts the neck. You want that to fit reasonably well. And I know we don't really think about that, and for the most part, capos are going to do what they need to do. But when you got an occasion like this, I know this player, and they're putting their capo on in a good position. They're putting it close to the fret. They're using a good capo, a good quality capo. They're using a shop style capo, probably a higher quality than even this one from Diodario. So then we start thinking, okay, well, maybe there's an issue with the guitar. So we start checking it out. Now Gibson on their website calls us a 24 3/4 inch scale. Now I run everything in metric, just because I'm in Canada. We're measuring in metric for the most part, which that comes out to 628 and change millimeters. So I thought to myself, well, what's the off chance that something is not quite right? Maybe my fret positions are out a little bit and it's not doing things right. So I got my calculator out and I started checking, fret positions, where they should be. And as I got higher on the neck, all of a sudden it's going, holy moly, some of these frets are out like 3/4 of a millimeter, or maybe even a little bit more. As it goes up, it got compounding. I'm like, man, that seems a little bit weird. Especially I wasn't expecting that from a quality company like Gibson. You see some of that stuff on, maybe some home built instruments and whatnot. So I double checked the scale length and physically checked it, and it's a little shorter than maybe what they had advertised. Now I don't know if that's just how this one came out or what the deal is. This one's coming out a couple millimeters shorter. Redid my calculations, and the fretwork is bang on according to what the scale length actually is. So that shouldn't be a problem. I got looking at the neck, and this has to be one of the straightest necks that I've ever seen. Like poker straight. The fretwork is good. I checked. There's no level. Level frets are good. It's all level. It's all that. So I got thinking to myself, well, maybe, I don't know, like something's a little bit off. Strung it up, tuned it up, checking my intonation. Sure enough, it's going a little bit sharp when I'm putting fingers down on the strings. Not across everywhere. Some strings are good. So I thought, okay, maybe I've got to intonate the saddle a little bit and compensate for some of that. But before I did that, I thought to myself, I'm going to give this neck just a skosh of relief. Okay? So I popped the truss rod cover off. The truss rod nut had never been moved from brand new because it was still black lacquer on the truss rod nut. Like it was lacquered right over. It had never been adjusted. So I backed it off a little bit, went a little bit too far, tightened it back up a little bit, got just a few thousandths of relief in the neck. Okay? Just a little bit. Tuned it back up again, checked my tuner, and now it intonates way closer. Guitars are not perfect. We know that. That's been talked about for years. Anybody that knows when you're playing the B string and the G string, sometimes we gotta temper tune them down a little bit. There's videos on that all over. Tuning has been discussed thoroughly at length, maybe too far. So anyway, I think we've got it. I capoed it up in a few different positions, and it capos, to me, it capos reasonably well. That means that I don't have to tune every string back down. I have to tweak a little bit when I capo, and I expect that on any guitar that I play. But it's not like I'm, 4, 5, 6 cents sharp across the whole thing. We're talking a couple cents on a couple strings, pop it into tune, and we're good to go. So, it's a killer little guitar, sounds awesome. I should mention that I did bring the action down just a tickle as well. We were sitting about 2.5 to 2 across from the 6th to the 1st. I dropped that by about a half a mil, maybe a little bit better. We're sitting just right around 1.85 to 2 on the 6th now, and just under, same thing at the 1st. We're just right around 2, just a skosh under. And I knew I could do that and get away with that because this neck was poker straight. I got a couple thousands of relief in there, a few thousands of relief. And she plays beautiful, sounds great. And I'm hitting hard when I play, you know, these are brand new strings. I'm going to capo up. I'm going to go up to the 5th. Okay, notice what I'm doing here. I'm coming up close to the fret, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure. Basically, I don't want it to buzz. Maybe you could go just a little tighter. I mean, it's basically in tune. There's a little tickle. Okay, use your ears, folks. Don't be afraid to use your ears. I'm gonna check with the tuner here, see where we're at. Now I haven't checked this open, so okay. So I'm gonna just double check open. We're a little foot. Okay, so now we're in tune. We were a little bit flat, which tracks, because when I had the capo on, I was checking it. And that's pretty good. Yeah. It's there. It's there. Needs to be fine-tuned, like you would expect. But I'm capoed up on the 5th fret, which is reasonably high. You know, anything, I don't, you know, I mean, you might go up to the 7th if you're doing some backgroundy. If you're doing some layering stuff, you might go that high. You're going for that Nashville guitar sound, maybe, you know, but for a lot of people, I would say going much past the 5th fret is probably not, they're probably not going there. So, anyway, great little guitar, sounds killer, this thing had dead strings on it when I got it, so we're far away and above, way better. So, great little guitar. Hey, if you like what you saw, hit that like and subscribe, notifications, send me a comment. You know, do what you want to do. What do you want to see? Is there things you want, you know, techniques, certain things you want to see? I try when I've got stuff in the shop to, you know, that's unique or a different situation to give you guys some useful information. So check out some of my other videos. I will see you in the next one.